Thank you very much, Corey, and good evening, high school football fans, and welcome to High School Football America for July the 28th. Well, it is officially here. High school football began this week with practice in Alaska on Tuesday, and then joining Alaska this week, Hawaii, North Carolina, South Carolina, some more to come. So if you want to see when your state officially starts practice, go to our website, highschoolfootballamerica.com, and click on High School Football Wire, and you'll be able to get all that information. You can also follow High School Football America on Facebook and Twitter. Just go to the website. Again, that's highschoolfootballamerica.com. Click on the icon so you don't miss out on one piece of high school football news throughout the season. Our Twitter handle is HSFB America. If you have any comments during the show, please feel free to contact us at the High School Football America Facebook page, and that is simply just search it out, High School Football America. Now let's move on to tonight's lineup as we take you to New Jersey, Ohio, and then we go to Tennessee for our interviews. We'll start with Maty Mauk, who is poised to break several career passing records this season. The Kenton High School senior will join us to talk about his team's high-octane passing attack that has his Ohio opponents, trying to figure out which way to shut down this game plan that doesn't have any running backs in it. Then it's on to Tennessee for a chat with Hall of Fame coach Gary Rankin of Alcoa High School. Rankin has won over 300 games and 9 state titles. Right now, Alcoa is in the middle of a run of, get this, 7 straight state championships. Our final interview tonight will be with another coaching legend, Greg Toal of Don Bosco Prep in Ramsey, New Jersey. Toal has built the Ironmen into a national powerhouse. DBP is on a 35-game win streak, 5 straight New Jersey non-public school state titles, and they're currently ranked number 1 by Max Preps in Max Preps' preseason top 25 poll. Time to thank our sponsors tonight. Blitz Group is a proud sponsor of High School Football America. Blitz Group is HSFA's media strategist. For more information, please go to their website at blitzgroup.com. The High School Rudy Awards are on board, too, honoring inspirational high school football players who define the best of the 4 C's: character, courage, contribution, and commitment. Go to www.highschoolrudyawards.com to learn more and to learn how to nominate a player. And we're also being sponsored tonight by the National High School Coaches Association, a 501c3 not-for-profit. The mission statement of the NHSCA is simple. It's to provide leadership and support to coaches and administrators and their programs. For more information, please go to their website at nhsca.com. And if you'd like a media kit to learn about sponsorship opportunities with High School Football America, please feel free to email me at jeff@highschoolfootballamerica.com. All right, time to take a break, and when we return, High School Football America takes you to Ohio for a chat with Maty Mauk, who, with his brother, is America's top passing brother tandem. That's right, it's not Peyton and Eli. That's when we return on High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life.
Talking a lot of high school football from around the country tonight. A little bit later in the show, we're going to go to Tennessee and talk with Gary Rankin, head coach at Alcoa, and he has won, or the school has actually won, 7 straight state championships. And then we'll go to Jersey and talk to Greg Toal, the head coach at Don Bosco Prep. They have won 35 straight and preseason number 1 in Max Prep's Big Schools rankings. But now we're going to turn our attention to Ohio and talk about Maty Mauk of Kenton High School. He's on pace to set several national passing records this year, including most career passing yards and touchdowns in a career. The best part, if he does it, he'll be passing his older brother Ben for the honor. Combined, Ben and Maty Mauk have thrown for 30,883 yards. The Mannings, you know them, Eli and Peyton, and the Detmers, Ty and Coy, 4 players together have only thrown for 30,822. So Maty playing in a high-powered attack that features 5 linemen, 5 wide receivers, and he joins us now to talk about his senior season. Thanks for joining us, Maty.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to talking to you. We spoke to your dad a couple of weeks ago on the NHSCA Sports Hour about you and your brother and the accomplishments. Of course, Dad, very, very proud as your coach. and he's proud of the individual stats, but he's, more improved or impressed by the amount of time that you guys win and how important it is to going out there and going for the W all the time. So tell us, how important it is in the family to have that tradition of making wins at Kenton?
Most important to everybody around. All you want to do is win. And back when my brother was just getting started in high school, my dad kind of put in the spread offense, and it kind of took off, and it's still going. But I think the most part to make it go is like tonight. Every night we're out throwing and working on everything you got to do to win. Linemen included. The linemen would do everything on the side. Just how everybody prepares and get ready for that season year-round is most of the success of how we win. So,
well, let's stay on the W factor before we get to those incredible stats. Your brother won 2 Division IV titles in 01 and 02. Now, how important is it to you to grab a title before you graduate this year?
It's up there. Of course, that's everybody's goal too. But I think the senior class. We've won 3 straight league titles, which has never been done. Of course, we're going to try to grab that 4th, and then we've really put our minds to getting that state title and winning it and coming out on top. So, that's really important to me too.
Okay. Well, let's give me a little bit of time here. I'm going to give the listeners some of these numbers here, which are incredible. So your brother is the nation's leader in passing yards. That's 17,364. He leads in pass attempts, 1,905. Total offense, 19,628. Now, second in touchdowns at 178 and completions at 1,095. Now, let's go to you. Just 35 games, 3,846 passing yards to pass your brother in the passing yard department, 4,155 in total yards to set the career total offense mark. Now, when you hear those numbers, and they're staggering, whether they're yours or your brother's, what comes to mind when you think about those numbers?
To be honest, mostly going through the season, it really doesn't even hit me until about Game 5, and everybody's like, man, he's going for 2,500 yards or something like that, and then it kind of hits me. That's what we've worked for that, and it's just another little factor that comes in with victory. I'm pretty excited to maybe break those records and keep winning and get that state title. So I'm excited for this season.
Okay, well, now your dad said that I guess your brother is going to be around this year helping out a little bit. So do you two, meaning you and your brother, ever talk about those records and the fact you're closing in on him? And what do you say to each other when it comes to that? You rib each other a little bit, like, hey, I'm going after number 1?
To be honest, the only time we ever bring that up is when other people bring it up. But,
okay.
That's never really brought up between us. So.
Okay, well, let's.
I think he'll just be happy for me. But, of course, 1 and 2, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Like I said, you got some names that you're passing there, the Mannings and the Detmers together, so that's an interesting stat. Let's talk about the offense. 51.5 points a game last year, 550 yards. Total offense. How much fun do you have running this offense?
I think it's any quarterback or receiver's dream, and really the offensive lineman too. Of course, the little scramble drills we do. I think that's where they get pretty excited when they get some crackbacks. But other than that, last year we had 3 really good receivers. Of course, they were gone. But it's just exciting because it's what you make plays and have fun with it. And, it's just, like I said, it's a dream playing offense like this.
Sure. Well, let's talk about this year's team. And you mentioned that you lost some receivers. Your dad, when he was talking a couple of weeks ago, said you need to replace some stuff. So tell me a little bit about what you and your new receivers are doing during the offseason to make sure the offense will be flying high when you open the season against Coldwater.
Receivers, we're going to have 5 new receivers. We had 1 returning, but he's going to be out the first 2 games. It looks like he did something to his ankle. But other than that, we'll have 3 sophomores, a junior, and then another one in my grade. But they're going to be young. But like I said, we'll be out here after the phone call. I'll be out throwing with them, getting them better. And then on the offensive line, looking at that, we'll have 4 new ones on there too. We got 1 returning. And then, of course, the whole defense is pretty much gone, too. So, we're going to be young, but we're going to put up a fight to everybody.
put up some points up there, too. I know your dad said, and I know this, that you and your teammates took part in the 7-on-7 national championships down in Hoover, Alabama last weekend. What was that experience like, playing against some of those top-flight teams from around America?
That's really it's special to play in that. I mean, it's 32 of the best teams, like you said. We were really young. The first day we started off kind of slow. The second day we didn't lose the game, and then we lost in the second round in the tournament, unfortunately. But like I said, we were young. They weren't really ready for that press yet, but I mean, it made them a lot better, and I think they're going to be ready for this game one.
All right, well, we're going to let you go back in a second there and toss some passes before we let you go. We are talking with Maty Mauk of Kenton High School in Ohio, and let's wrap things up. You verbally committed to Missouri. We heard your dad talk about why you made that decision, but tell us, what were some of the factors that led you to say yes to Mizzou, at least on the verbal side?
The offense is really similar to the one I'm in now, so, I mean, it's going to be, in my opinion, a pretty easy transition. Coach Tinkle and Coach Yost, I mean, they've done a really good job recruiting me. Seems like they were here almost every week. And then, of course, Coach Tinkle, the way he has his team, it's all about family and stuff like that. And I'm just excited to have them be my little mentors and guide me for the next 4 years.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and we wish you the best of luck as you chase down your brother and possibly chase down the championship in Ohio. So best of luck in 2011.
Thank you very much.
Sure. That was Maty Mauk of Kenton High School. He and his brother Ben have thrown for 30,883 yards, and probably at the end of the season, it's going to be Maty on top, number 1, and Ben number 2 in a lot of categories, including total offense, passing yardage, and touchdown passes. So quite a career being put together by them. And again, Coach Mike Mauk was on the NHSCA show, and if you'd like to go and listen to that, you can go into the artistfirst.com archives and listen to that show from back on July the 17th. Now, we were talking there about the National Select 7-on-7 Championships in Alabama last week. Daphne High School from Alabama, the state's defending 6A champs, went a perfect 13-0 to win the title. Trojans beating in-state rival Prattville 10-8 in the championship game. It was the second time during the three-day championship series that Daphne beat Prattville. Prattville, a lot of expectations this year, ranked number 6 in Max Prep's preseason top 25 early contenders poll. Championship was Daphne's second in the National Select 7-on-7. Trojans won the first event in 2001. It's also the 6th time in 11 years that an Alabama team has walked away with the trophy. And we talked with Brandon Shepard, the executive director of the National Select 7-on-7 on last week's show. So if you missed it, you can check it out free and on demand in our archives by going to artistfirst.com and clicking on High School Football America in the show category. Well, we're going to take a break, and when High School Football America comes back, we'll head to Tennessee to talk with Alcoa head coach Gary Rankin, who's getting ready to lead his team after the school's 8th straight state championship. You are listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life.
Welcome back to High School Football America. Now here's your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much. Exciting night here. Just got done speaking with Maty Mauk from Kenton, Ohio, set to break several Nationals career passing records in the nation, passing his brother. And as we told you, Eli and Peyton Manning and Ty and Coy Detmer, if you put all four of them together combined, they would not pass those two kids in Ohio. A little bit later, we're going to talk with Greg Toal, the head football coach at Don Bosco Prep, preseason number 1 in the Max Preps preseason poll. But now we're going to go to Tennessee and talk with Gary Rankin, who's built 2 Tennessee programs, Riverside and now Alcoa, into state powers, although Alcoa had a pretty good leg up when he got there. He won 5 at Riverside, now 4 championships at Alcoa, where the school is on a string of 7 straight state titles. Coach Rankin's overall record, 323-61 with a 71-4 mark at Alcoa. And he joins me now to talk about that tradition at Alcoa in the 2011 season. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, no, it's exciting because I've been able to watch the program from afar up here in Chicago, and maybe what we should do is start kind of for our listeners on what it's like in the community there of Alcoa. You know, tell us a little bit about the community and how football fits into the fabric there.
It's like a throwback, Jeff, in Friday Night Lights. It's one of those old traditional places. I've been here for 5 years. We've won 5 state championships in a row. The support here is phenomenal. It's a football town, a football community. We have a school of about 540 kids. We have 250 boys in our school, but 95 of them play football. So it's really, really important in our community. And once you get it rolling like we've got it rolling, you have a lot of participation. And we've been able to hire some good coaches into our staff, and we've just got a good thing going on.
Well, let's talk about that tradition and the titles and the string of those. You mentioned, coaches are important, longevity there, good kids. But is there any one thing after you came there you said, wow, this is really special? There's a secret here that most people don't understand when it comes to high school football.
Well, there's certainly pockets, and I don't know how to explain it, but there's pockets, I think, all over the United States, and ours is a small pocket. But we have some tremendous athletes come out of this little small pocket. Green Bay Packers just signed Randall Cobb, who played at Kentucky, and he was a quarterback for us for 4 years here when I was here. We just got some phenomenal athletes to come out of a small school, and big participation, and we've been able to maintain a good coaching staff. But the type of athletes that we have is a little unusual for a small school.
Well, you went from the big program at Riverside in the top classification, back down to Alcoa, which is played in 2A and now 3A. So tell the people a little bit about why you made the switch, because you obviously had lots of success at Riverside.
I was at Riverdale. It's Riverdale High School.
Riverdale.
And I was there for 15 years, and out of 15 years we played in 9 state championships and won 4, and just had a phenomenal record going on there. And it was more personal than anything. It was one of the top 2 or 3 jobs in the state probably, and it was more of a family decision and wanting to get my children in a smaller school, and there was some reasons there just from a personal standpoint, and this afforded us a chance to be in a smaller school, a smaller community, and still play big-time football. So I just got lucky and I found a community like this.
Well, and I apologize for messing up Riverdale. I'm back from an area that has Riverside and I had California on my mind, so I apologize for that. But let's talk about 2011 and give some of the kids the props. Who are some of the key kids on this team this year if you guys are going to make a run at an 8th straight time?
So we've got a tailback that's coming back that was a Mr. Football candidate in our division last year. That's similar to a Mr. Heisman Trophy thing in your state. He's a great running back. He was in Sports Illustrated 1 week last year for a big game that he had, and he's certainly one of our better players. We've got a couple of linemen. My son, John Tucker Rankin, is a pretty good center coming back, and Thomas Lowe is an outstanding offensive lineman. We've got a couple of outstanding fullbacks. So we've got some kids coming back, and we lost some good football players, but we always lose good football players here. And we've got the numbers and we've got the tradition. It seems like always there's some kids that step up. So we've got some young kids that's going to have to step up for us to continue what we've been doing. And we've certainly picked it up a little bit on our schedule. We're playing 3 or 4 state champs in the past couple of years, and our schedule is going to be pretty demanding.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Let's go to the Maryville game. 6A school, they've won 105 of their last 105, 101 of their last 105. 2 of those losses to you guys. 2 schools, you're about 6 miles apart, I guess. So tell us about that. Tell us about that game.
2 schools at about 5 to 6 miles apart. They have great tradition. They've had a great run. Between us, I think there's like 18, or between us, I think there's like 14 or 15 state championships in the last 10 years, maybe. They've got a tremendous ball club over there, great coaches. It's one of the big games, I think, in the South when we play. There's always 10 or 12,000 there, and that's a big crowd in the state of Tennessee, and it's a huge, huge rivalry.
Now, you had mentioned some other state champs. You've got Greenville in there. What's your goal when it comes to scheduling non-district games?
Well, I don't know if it's a goal. First of all, we can't find anybody else to play. I mean, it's hard scheduling teams. We're not a type team that can go out of state and start going everywhere. First of all, financially, it would be tough on us, and we're still just a small 2, 3A school, but we have trouble getting games. We've got Greenville, who's a great program in the state of Tennessee now, Maryville, who both won state championships last year. We have Fulton on there. who's won three state championships in the last 8 or 9 years. So we've certainly got our hands full with the competition that we play, and all of those schools are quite a bit bigger than us. But I guess our philosophy, we want to make sure that we're ready for the playoffs. We've got a 43-game winning streak that really doesn't mean much to us. We certainly schedule to try to break that thing, I think, but, we're real concerned about the 7 straight championships. But tough schedule, and we want to play good people.
Sure. Now, you mentioned, economics being what they are across the country with a lot of football programs. You do have a deal this year, an endorsement deal with Under Armour. So how does that help you out in these tough economic times to keep the football?
Well, it helps us out, and I'm not real familiar. Athletic director was in charge of that. He took care of the deal, and they gave us some pretty good deals, I guess. The money involved was pretty good for our size of school. I know our kids were really excited with the Under Armour thing, and they got some deals. But financially, we're like, I guess, any other athletic program. We're trying to get as much as we can for our kids. And, from a financial standpoint, it's getting harder and harder in some places.
Oh, absolutely. The pay for play is not a good thing to see coming. Talking with Gary Rankin at Alcoa High School, 7 straight state championships there, and we'll let you go on this question. I know earlier this year you were inducted into the Tennessee Secondary Schools Hall of Fame. I know the NHSCA also honored you a couple of years ago. What do those honors mean, and what does specifically being inducted into the Tennessee Hall of Fame mean to you?
Well, it was good. I'm sort of one of those guys that sort of stands back in the corner. I've never done it for awards or being put in any kind of Hall of Fames, but it's a great testament to the places I've been and the kids that's played for me and the coaches that I've had. I've always had great coaches on my staff, and I think it honors everybody that's coached for us and played for us, and it's certainly a great honor, and it was sort of a surprise, I guess.
Well, it's always nice to be honored, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule tonight to chat with us, and we wish you the best of luck there in 2011, and we'll keep up to date with the listeners up to date with what you're doing.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate what all you guys do for high school football. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Thanks a lot. That's Gary Rankin from Alcoa. And, speaking of the Tornadoes and top 25s and championships, the small schools poll came out for Max Preps this week, and last week we were talking with Steve Spiewak from Max Prep saying that they were coming out with a little surprised that the Tornadoes didn't make it there in the top 25. You can go to High School Football America to see it all, but just to give you a kind of a brief overview, in the top 5, you got Buford from Georgia. We got John Curtis from Louisiana, good program there. University High School from Florida. Heritage Hale from Oklahoma, and Evangel Christian Academy from Louisiana. But again, if you want to check out the entire top 25 on the small school side of things, go to highschoolfootballamerica.com to check that out. And if you missed last week's interview with Steve Spiewak, go to artistfirst.com and click on High School Football America in the archives to check it out. Don't forget to follow High School Football America on Facebook and Twitter by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. Now, coming up in about 40 minutes after the hour, we'll talk with another legendary coach, Greg Toal of Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. Ironman ranked number 1 in Max Prep's preseason Big Schools Top 25. But when we come back, we're going to take you around the country with some top stories from the week that has been. And this is High School Football America, your ticket to high school football in America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life.
Welcome back to High School Football America, and now here's your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk with Greg Toal, the head football coach at Don Bosco Prep, the national powerhouse out of New Jersey. Now, don't forget to sign up to follow High School Football America on Facebook and Twitter. Just go to highschoolfootballamerica.com and click on the icons. But now it's time to travel around the country. Take a look at high school football news from the past week, and the first stop is going to be Texas, where the University Interscholastic League has announced that all 10 of its 11-man Texas high school football championships will be held in Cowboy Stadium in December. I was there last year, and I'll tell you what, to see 43,000 people in a professional stadium checking out football was quite a scene. Last year was the first year that the title games were held in the home of the Cowboys, but only 5A, 4A, and 3A games were held in Arlington. The 2A and 1A games were played in Mansfield. This year, the Class 2A Division I championship and the 2 Class A title games will be played on December the 15th. That's a Thursday. The Class 2A and Class 3A Division II championship games will be played on Friday the 15th. And then the Class 4A Division II and both of the Class 5A title games will be played on Saturday. The Class 3A Division I championship game will be played a week earlier on December the 9th. And the UIL also announced this week that the Division I and II six-man championships will be played in Abilene on December the 10th. Now, 24 high school football players, and specifically quarterbacks from around America, descended upon Pepperdine University in California last week with the hopes of being named ESPN Rise Elite 11 quarterbacks. All of the quarterbacks were put through 5 days of intense workouts and film sessions, plus head-to-head 7-on-7 passing competitions led by an elite coaching staff that was led by former NFL quarterback Trent Dilfer, Tanner Magnum of Eagle High School in Idaho, Neil Burcham of Greenbrier High School in Arkansas, and Jameez Winston of Hueytown High School in Alabama shared the MVP honors. There are some of the notable Elite 11 quarterbacks from the past: Matt Leinart, Jamarcus Russell, Mark Sanchez, Troy Smith, Matthew Stafford, Tim Tebow, and Vince Young. So some pretty good names there. The city of Stamford in Connecticut will honor the late Andy Robustelli on September the 16th when they rename the field at Boyle Stadium after the Pro Bowl Hall of Famer. And Robustelli, who died on December 31st of this year, is a Stamford native who played in the NFL from 1951 to 1964 for the Los Angeles Rams and the New York Giants. Andy Robustelli Field at Boyle Stadium will be dedicated when Stamford hosts Warren Harding High School on September the 16th. And finally, the 38th annual Kansas Shrine Bowl will be played on Saturday, this coming Saturday, July the 30th, at Lewis Field at Fort Hays State. The West squad brings a 5-game win streak into the game and owns a 23-13 lead in the series. Larry Geitzak of Centralia is the coach of the East All-Stars, and Rick Wheeler of Wichita Heights leads the West team. The game benefits Shriners Hospital for Children. Well, coming up, when we come back, we'll talk with Greg Toal, head coach of Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. The Ironmen ranked number 1 in Max Prep's preseason football poll. That's the big schools poll. That and more when we come back. You're listening to High School Football America, and this is the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life.
Welcome back to High School Football America. Now here's your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much. I want to thank our sponsors tonight, the U.S. Navy. Great show so far. We talked to Maty Mauk in Kenton, Ohio, poised to break several national passing records for career marks. He'll actually pass his brother, which is an interesting little story. We just spoke a little while ago to Gary Rankin, the head coach at Alcoa in Tennessee. 7 straight state championships, and time to bring in another coach that's put up some impressive numbers. His name, Greg Toal from Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. 12 years there, building the school into a national power. 09, the Ironmen won the Max Prep's national title of the year. And they're kind of back on top of the heap this year. As Max Prep says in the preseason poll, they're number 1. They've won 35 straight, 5 straight New Jersey, 9 public Group 4 state titles. And Coach Toal's record at DBP is 132-10. He's won 256 games in his career. And, Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us on the show tonight.
Well, thank you. This is my pleasure. This is quite a treat.
Well, yeah, it's always fun to talk about programs that are going well, but, you know, you kind of built this in a matter of a dozen years here. So can we go back to the beginning when you came to Ramsey? And the school wasn't always a football power. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that it was like then and what you did to make it what it is now.
Yeah, it was an interesting situation. You know, I was blessed. The guy that hired me was Father John Talamo, and he came from Louisiana, and he understood the importance of football. You know, because no one in Don Bosco at that time was. We were second fiddle to everybody, especially Bergen Catholic and St. Joe's Montvale. Those were two rivals, and we didn't beat them in probably 100 years, it seemed like, and and things weren't real good at that time, and it was we're a pretty average football team, but he had some vision, and he wanted to see this thing turned around, and originally I wasn't going to go there because I didn't think anybody really cared about football at Don Bosco, but he kind of convinced me to come, and I'm glad I did, and he's a great guy, and absolutely a great leader and a good person, and I'm glad I came, and we've had new administration, but everybody's behind the program, and they've kind of really helped us, and I got a bunch of great coaches, and we've been blessed. We've got a bunch of great kids also.
Well, you had done a lot of things at a couple of other schools before you got there. Not that there's a secret sauce or anything, but is there anything that you did back then that you think really set the tone for what was about to come? I mean, did this exceed your expectations?
Well, I kind of looking back on it, I can remember, my first before the first game, we went to the grotto to pray as a team. And a priest was there, and he says, Coach, where's the team? I told him, I said, listen, this isn't for everybody. I says, you got to be the right guy for this. So, if you're not committed, so some of the kids went elsewhere. I mean, they left, they quit, whatever their situation was. But, we had a formula, and we totally stayed to it, and we believed in it, and so okay. I think at that time, Father wasn't sure exactly if that was the formula, if we had the right formula. But I told him, I said, trust me on this one.
Well, let's go ahead.
He did, and things worked out. So,
well, let's and we'll kind of go back and forth here between then and now. So let's kind of go to, let's say, last season. Like I said, you got the win streak going. You got a lot of expectations. But last year, you weren't really looked at as to be one of the top teams, and you win another state title. So tell me a little bit about last year's team and what made it special for you.
Well, it was a bunch of guys. Yeah, we didn't plan on being very good, and a lot of people were counting us out, and there were a bunch of kids that just caught fire early on in the season and really believed, and they really committed. We play everybody one way, so you get a lot of kids get an opportunity to play, and our kids really believed in what we were doing, and everybody was jacked up and excited about it, and we went a long way with probably some pretty average guys.
So is that something where it's just really teaching the kids about the tradition, which leads to the excellence and all those other things? I mean, is that something that you verbalize?
There's a lot. Yeah, they know what to expect now. The level of commitment is obviously very high, and so they really know what to expect. Coming into during the winter workouts and during the spring and summer. So it's kind of it's not shock theater for these kids anymore, and they know what to expect, and they kind of know what they're getting into when they come to Don Bosco. So
sure. Now you've got the opposite this year, because I think I read you've got at least about 60 kids back from last year. So now you got a team that's expected to win. So what's the difference in coaching them, or at least on the motivational side, to keep these kids focused?
Well, that's not. It's a lot easier being on the other side of the coin. That's for sure. When you're not expected to do much, and there's always concerns. Everything's hopefully that we can mold these kids and get them to believe that that they better come and play every day and not be the type of guys that. I've been on both situations. I've seen teams that should have been great and were pretty average, and I've teams that shouldn't have been very good and were outstanding. So, chemistry has a lot to do with a team, but we're excited. We think we got great kids, and we got some real solid football players. So we're excited about our opportunities, and we look forward to playing some great games. We got Mission Viejo and St. Ed's, and
You don't shy away from these national games. I was going to talk to you about that. You got Manatee, like you said, Mission Viejo, and St. Edward. You've beaten De La Salle, a couple of times. Last year you beat Gilman and St. Ignatius. So tell me a little bit about your take on these national games as they get bigger and bigger, made for TV, so to speak. How do you feel about them?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, that's why you get involved in coaching, and you want challenges, and hey, why not? Well, what's the worst case scenario? You can lose. I've lost before, so that's not what drives us. Is our things. Hey, let's create some challenges, and let's be as good as we can be. Let's find out how good we are. Hey, if we go out and get our tail kicked, that's okay too. At least we know where we're at. But I think it would be a lot worse to just not take on the challenges and not, be excited. So we're not afraid of the challenges, and I think that's important. That you're not afraid to step out of the box and play somebody really good, and look for a good fight anyway.
Well, I actually had lunch with Steve Spiewak from Max Preps today, and he was talking you guys up, and of course he's from that area there. He's from the enemy though, St. Peter's. But anyway, he said look out for you guys. Let's talk about some of those players you didn't mention by name, but let's see if we can get a couple of name drops in here on some of these kids you expect some big things out of this year.
Well, there's no question. Darius Hamilton. I mean, he should be the best defensive lineman in the state. He's just a great football player. He's got some pretty good, genes as far as his father's. Keith Hamilton played 13 years, All-Pro quite a few years with the Giants. He's, and the kid's a great kid. He's, just a hard worker and really, really special as far as, his attitude and everything else. He's a great leader. So, the other one, obviously, Leonte Carew is just a great wide receiver. He's a difference maker. He's a guy, last year we had really, three difference makers, the one being the quarterback, Gary Nova, and the other two being Paul Canavari, our tailback, and Leonte. Leonte was a big play guy, and, he made us a lot better in so many ways. And, he's a special guy. So, yeah. Our other
talent there.
He's got some talent. He's special. Those two are very special. You got Yuri Wright, who's a defensive back. Does a real fine job. He's got some. He's 6'2" corner. They're hard to find, and he runs real well, and he's got real good ball skills. So he's a guy that's he's got to step up and be a great player for us as he was last year. So hopefully he continues to grow and get better. So we're excited about Yuri, all right, and, we got Mike Strezak, our defensive end. He's going to Boston College. He's committed there. He's a pretty special guy. And Tyler Samra, he's special. Elijah Shoemate, he's a guy that we really need to, he'll probably be the tailback taking over, and so that's quite a big command, at Don Bosco to be the tailback. We've had some great quarterbacks, and we've had many a great tailback. So that guy's the guy. The last few have been very good. We're going back to Ryan Grant. From there, we went to Brian Toal. From there, tailback, we went to Dylan Romaine, who ended up going to Albany on a full scholarship, and then we went to Tony Jones. We went to Paul Canavari, and now we're going to Elijah Shoemate. So we've had some good ones.
Yeah, that's a reload situation. I know a few people that know you, and they've said nothing but great things about you as a coach and as a person. And you mentioned, where some of these kids went. Obviously, wins are important. Championships are great. But how important is it to you to see these kids go on to college and do something at the next level to get that education and maybe go on beyond that?
Well, I think that's the thing we do preach the most with our kids. Make sure, football's not forever, and make sure you're going to go to a place where, you have some contacts and some people that can help you later, people that really care about you. So, there's a lot of programs that kind of use you up, and, they don't love you forever. And you go to some places that really care about you, and they're really going to do a great job. And I think that's important. We've always preached that to our kids as far as let's make sure you go to a place that's that's going to love you and care about you. So I think that's the most important thing that we look for.
Okay, well, we're going to get
our kids
get a couple more questions in here and let you go. We are talking with Greg Toal, head coach at Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. You've got that national spotlight on you with the number one. So tell me a little bit about the big picture as far as goals this year, and then maybe if you even want to pull it out and say, what does Don Bosco hold in the next 5 years as it comes to football?
Well,
yeah,
I don't know what I'm worried about this year. I'm not worried about 5 years, but I wish it was that simple where I could say, gee, we're going to get all these great players the next 5 years, and and be a special program and stay up with with the best teams in New Jersey and the best teams in the country. So we only hope that's the case, and we're sure going to work towards that goal. We're excited. I mean, just to be from where we came from to where we are today, it's a real special treat, and we're excited about obviously with our future, but we're all excited about this year, actually getting an opportunity to go for another national championship. Winning that one in 2009 was very special, and if our kids got a shot this year, we sure hope they got a shot, and we'll be we're real excited about those opportunities. I say this is probably the toughest schedule we've ever undertaken with all three great teams out of the state.
Yeah, no, and the one thing I like, I told you I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and I don't usually root, but it's always good to see somebody from the Northeast carrying the mantle here. I like Texas, like Florida, but it was good to see you guys win a championship. Jersey in 2009, so we're rooting again this year for you. But last question then. You did last year, you were honored by ESPN Rise National Coach of the Year, which is a long way from 12 years ago when you didn't even know if you were coming. And I know you're going to be modest about it, but what does an honor like that mean to you when somebody at that level, on the national level, says, hey, job well done?
Well, I kind of owe it to a lot of other people. I'm just one part of this, and I get a lot of great coaches and great guys that really, care about the kids, and I think that's, that's always, it's never been I don't want it to be about me. I got a bunch of young and some older coaches that just do the job, guys that have been around a long time with us. Chuck Granitel, he's been the offensive line coach, and Anthony Campanelli does a great job as the offensive coordinator, and Billy Lopez, he's been with me forever, and we got Drew Lascari, he's doing a heck of a job, and Danny Morangi's been our defensive coordinator for forever, for the last 10, 12 years. So we've been blessed having so many guys that have contributed and have really done a great job at Don Bosco. So it's not like a lot of other sports. Football, you better have some great coaches around you. You don't have great coaches around you, I don't care who you are, you're not going to be successful.
No, I agree with you.
Basketball, you can do it with one guy. One guy can, there's only 5 guys out there at a time. In football, it's really, there's a bunch of guys out there all the time, and, it's really tough to, unless you got great guys around you, you're not going to be very good. And, I've been blessed, and, we got some guys that really love to compete and coach. So, Don Bosco's blessed to have these people, on their staff.
Well, I asked you at the beginning about the secret sauce, and you probably just described it there, longevity in the coaching staff with guys that know what they're doing. So, Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to talk with us, and best of luck in 2011. I think it's probably going to be a special year for you. So thanks a lot, and best of luck.
We hope so. Thanks a lot,
okay.
Jeff. Full of that. All right?
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That is Greg Toal, the head football coach at Don Bosco Prep, number one according to Max Preps this year. A lot of players back, over 60 people from last year's squad that won their 5th straight Group 4 non-public title in New Jersey. They've won 35 straight. They were the national champs in 2009, and probably some special things to come. But they've got 3 big games, as you heard them talk about, with the Mission Viejo, Manatee. They got them on the schedule this year. So lots of things have to happen to fall the right way, but if they get those victories against those big out-of-state teams, expect probably another national championship for them. Going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the headlines from the week that was. Remember, you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Go to Facebook and search us at High School Football America. Our Twitter handle is HSFB America, and join up and follow along throughout the season. And just a reminder, next week, one of our top interviews will be Chris Shields from Joplin High School in Missouri. Chris is the first-year head coach, and shortly after he got the job this year, that's when those devastating tornadoes ripped through his community. Of about 50,000 homes, 17,000 of them were lost. So we're going to talk to Chris Shields next week from Joplin, Missouri, and find out exactly how the community's doing and how the team is kind of interfacing and getting ready for the 2011 season. Taking a break, coming back with more. You're listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.
The hottest technology in the world isn't being developed in Silicon Valley. In the United States Navy, more top-secret technologies are being created than ever before. Incredible machines made of stealth materials that fly by themselves. The only problem with these incredible technologies? It's a shame the enemy can't see them. To learn more, call 1-800-USA-NAVY or visit Navy.com. Navy, accelerate your life.
And now back to High School Football America with your host, Jeff Fisher.
Thank you very much. As we come down the home stretch, going to go around the nation and check out a couple of more headlines. This one I really enjoyed earlier this week. For the second year in a row, high school football teams on the island of Kauai in Hawaii will switch from Friday night games to Saturday afternoon games midway through the season. Now, why is this? Well, it all began last year when the Kauai Interscholastic Federation decided to play daytime games to make sure that the football stadium lights don't threaten and endanger seabirds known as the Newell's shearwater. According to published reports, the young seabirds become confused and distracted by the lights while trying to follow their migration instincts to follow the moon and the stars while migrating to the ocean between September the 15th and December the 15th. And that was what the story was out of Kauai. So wildlife officials say that once the birds become distracted, they kind of fly in circles, and then they eventually drop to the ground where they're attacked by cats and hit by cars. It's reported that the Newell's shearwater numbers have dropped approximately 75% from a high of 80,000 in the mid-90s. Kauai teams must follow the Saturday afternoon schedule starting in mid-September to keep the county in compliance with federal laws protecting these endangered birds. Well, now back to the football, and we're going to come to Illinois for this one. Football practice across the state begins on the 10th of August, but legendary football coach Jim Unruh will not be on the Illini West sideline. Unruh resigned last week after an incredible career that saw him win 6 state titles between two schools, which were Illinois West and Carthage High School. They combined a couple of years ago. His overall record in 25 years as head coach at the school was 256 and 45. He resigned. He said the pressures of football right now outside of just the season have gotten a little too much. He goes out on a high, though. His team won last year's 3A title, plus he won 40 of his last 41 games. And we'll wrap up with some news from Texas. We started with some Texas about the championships. This one, I guess Keith Jackson would say it best. Whoa, Nelly. Published reports in the Dallas Morning News last week said that the Big 12 commissioner put a temporary hold on plans by the newly created Longhorn Television Network to broadcast high school football games in Texas. BB decided to push the pause button, if you will, on the high school games after ESPN VP Dave Brown may have committed an NCAA violation by mentioning the names of 2 2012 University of Texas recruits in a June radio interview. The Longhorn Television Network, which is scheduled to launch on August the 26th, is owned by the 24-hour television network called the ESPN. You know, the worldwide leader in sports has paid $300 million reportedly over a 20-year period for ownership of the network, which will focus on University of Texas sports. The Longhorn Television Network had planned to broadcast 18 high school games during the 2011 season, but those plans have been delayed while BB and his staff try to determine if those broadcasts are an NCAA violation. Several Big 12 members reportedly feel that airing the high school games on the Longhorn Television Network would give a recruiting advantage to Texas. Various media outlets are reporting that Big 12 members Texas A&M and Oklahoma considering a possible move to the SEC. in addition to making sure the network doesn't violate NCAA rules, BB wants to also make sure that fellow Big 12 members are not put at a disadvantage. I want to thank our sponsors tonight for the show. Blitz Group, the proud media sponsor of High School Football America, the High School Rudy Awards. Go to highschoolrudyawards.com to learn more, and the National High School Coaches Association at nhsca.com. And last but not least, I want to thank our guests on the show tonight. It was a great show. A lot of number ones. First, the kid going after the number one position in career passing yardage and touchdowns. His name, Maty Mauk from Kenton High School. And Maty joined us to talk about that and passing his brother, who currently is number one in passing yardage and total offense. We also spoke with Gary Rankin, the head football coach at Alcoa High School in Tennessee. 8 straight championships is what the Tornadoes are going for this year in Tennessee. And Gary had some good insight into a program that he says is just like that Friday Night Lights atmosphere. And we wrapped up with Greg Toal, head football coach at Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. Number one, according to Max Preps, going into the season, and that team is loaded. It's a team to watch as we go through the 2011 season. I want to thank you for listening to tonight's show. And remember, next week we're going to go start things off in Joplin, Missouri with a chat with Chris Shields, the head football coach there, talking about the devastating tornadoes that have severely impacted the community and obviously his football team. I'd like to thank you all, and again, go to www.highschoolfootballamerica.com to learn more. Join us on Facebook. Join us on Twitter. I'll talk to you next week. I'm Jeff Fisher. Thanks for listening. This has been High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.